With the football season quickly approaching for the North County Raiders, the team is expected to have some new faces lead the way on the field. While still under the direction of head coach Brian Jones, the Raiders will have to replace 9 graduated seniors, including quarterback Colton Poorman, running back Jalen Reed, wide receiver Cole Ziegler, and lineman Payson DeClue. Jones says as they find new people for those roles, he hopes his team can get back to basics.
Just in the skill area, we're just trying to get these guys focused on fundamentals and consistency, making sure they're breaking into their routes at the correct time every time, and make sure we're throwing on time to them, make sure we're getting our reads correctly, and just really focusing on the fundamentals.
This year's team could feature a lot of juniors and sophomores, including a few that made contributions to last year's team that went 5-4 in the regular season. Even though most of the players may not have varsity experience, Jones says he likes the increased number of players to choose from.
The 2 previous years, the first year we were just lucky, fortunate enough to have some really good skill guys, but we didn't have any competition hardly at all. And last year we didn't have much competition. Either just because our numbers were so low, but because our numbers are trending upward a little bit, we do have more competition in certain positions this year, and the kids are battling and they're learning how to compete, which is something they haven't done for a while here.
Jones says the process of determining the new starters for the 2019 Raiders is twofold.
Of course, how they are physically, who can run and who can, who's not afraid to hit, who's got some courage. We also look mentally. How do they respond after a bad play? Do they get rattled, or do they shake it off and can they go again? And just how do they respond if somebody's really getting after them defensively? Do they come back at them with more, or do they kind of lay down and take the beating? So I'd say the mental aspect kind of separates people when we're looking for who's going to be Friday night players.
Go!
But one position group that returns most of its starters is the offensive line, and Jones says that area could be a strength for the Raiders this year.
We're actually returning the center, right guard, and tackle, so those guys, this will be their second year of working together and working beside each other, so they have a good idea of what each other does, what each other's strengths are, and they're also more comfortable and confident in their positions because this is going to be the second year they've played them.
And on the other side of the ball, North County's defense could be primed for a big year with most of the starters returning from last season.
Our defensive line's returning because they're mainly our offensive line guys, and we got 2 linebackers coming back, or 3 linebackers coming back that were starters at some point during last season, and we got a couple of secondary guys. So the challenge this year is to kind of change. We're changing a little bit of what we do defensively to hopefully kind of help us out fundamentally, and that's been kind of the challenge right now, is just working into that.
So as the team starts to come together, they will prepare to take on the same schedule as they had last season. The only difference, Jones says, is that many opponents on their schedule bring back lots of experience.
The real concern is just the experience and the depth of some of the teams on our schedule. Farmington, we know that they got a lot of skilled players coming back. That's a concern, and then we go right from Farmington into the Festus game. Festus played for our district championship last year. That was a team that got better each week. And then, of course, DeSoto, they are big up front. They got their quarterback back for his senior year, who's had 2 years of experience already.
As far as expectations for this season, Jones says he's keeping it simple for his group.
The challenge tomorrow and the expectation tomorrow is to be better than we were today. And that's how we go into the season as well. We want to be better week 2 than we were week 1, and just kind of build on that. And if we're getting better each week, then whatever happens week 10 and possibly beyond is pretty much we've done what we can to make that happen.
The 2019 campaign for the North County Raiders kicks off with a home game Friday, August 30th against the Cape Central Tigers. For Regional Radio Sports, I'm Andy Humphrey.